Hi everybody, today we're going to talk about outlining and we're still on our topic of immigration. So as you can see, I'm in Poplet, and if I zoom all the way out, you can see my whole brainstorm where I started with immigration in the middle, and remember I brainstormed everything here and I got to refugees and I finally got to my topic, my opinion topic, that people are afraid of refugees, but they shouldn't be. So now I'm ready to start thinking about what my supporting ideas are going to be and some other ideas that I want to talk about in my paragraph. So here I want you to be in Poplet and take your opinion statement here. And first thing you're going to do is brainstorm your main points for why you believe that. You can have two or three. Right now I have three. So my first point, most of us have ancestors who were immigrants, that we have very good vetting procedures in the US, which means that we check people who are entering the US and we don't just let anyone in, but we know who they are and that they're safe. And also that immigrants are generally very loyal to their new country. So these are my main points. And I'm going to brainstorm some other points that I want to include, some ideas that I have, and then we're going to move to a Word document to try outlining. And I'm going to try to figure out what order these should go in. So let's see, most of us have ancestors who are immigrants. I think some of the things I want to say here is that the US was founded by immigrants. I think that's a good point. And I want to connect that. Another point I want to make is that the US has historically welcomed immigrants, that people have been welcome here for a long time. Something else I want to say, I want to talk about the Statue of Liberty because there's actually some writing there that talks about how the US will take anyone who is weak or weary or poor. That's part of our heritage. And I think I want to share a personal example that my family came from England and Ireland in the US, and I'll have to look up a little more information or talk to my grandparents about that. Okay, so I've got some ideas here for that main point. Now let's talk about the vetting procedures. Okay, so how can I explain more about this? I want to explain that refugees actually get more vetting than other kinds of immigrants. So they actually get more of a check from the US government than other kinds of immigrants do, like students. So in that sense, it's safer than other kinds of immigrants. And I also want to explain that actually there's refugees commit very few crimes. We don't really have a problem with refugees coming and then committing a lot of crimes in the US. Okay, so let's see, that's my ideas there. So I think I want to move on to this one, that immigrants are generally very loyal to their new country. So maybe I'll say something like, may want to hold on to their culture and language, and that's okay. We expect them to do that. But I think the refugees that I've met and the immigrants that I've met have been very excited to learn English and adapt to a new culture. And I think most of them are grateful. They're grateful to escape. They're grateful to be given a safe place to live. So that's pretty good for my ideas. And now I need to go to my Word document here. And notice I've already got my header. So to make my header a single space, I need to do paragraph. Don't add a space. Okay. And then I'm going to start with number 1. This is my outline. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is my topic sentence, which is people are afraid of refugees, but they shouldn't be. And then I'm going to list my main points. Okay, so my main point, this is one of them. Most of us have ancestors who were immigrants. Another main point over here. And here I'm going to write in complete sentences. Very good vetting procedures. Notice that in my brainstorm, there's no rules, right? I don't have to write in complete sentences. Here I just use a dash, capitalization, whatever. It's just your ideas, right? But when I'm writing my outline, I want to make sure I'm using full sentences. And I'm going to add for refugees. Okay, and then finally, immigrants and refugees are generally very loyal to their new country. Okay, so I have my three main points. I have my topic sentence here, number one, and I need to write my conclusion, but for right now I'm just going to put in conclusion so I remember I need to come back to that. And now I'm going to add in my supporting details. So let's put Statue of Liberty, oops, make sure I capitalize Liberty, personal example, U.S. founded by immigrants, historically welcomed. And actually, these kind of seem like the same point now that I look at it, so I'm going to combine them. And has historically welcomed them. Okay. And now I need to think about the order of these 3 points, if this makes sense. So I'm thinking this one is kind of the first one because it talks about the beginning of the U.S. So I want to put that first, and then the Statue of Liberty, and following my personal example, just because I think that's the most logical order in terms of the time that things happened. Then I'm going to add my supporting details for this point. Refugees get more vetting than other types of immigrants, and refugees commit few crimes. Okay, and that seems like an okay order right there. So let's add this last part. They're generally very loyal, and I'm going to start with them being grateful because that kind of goes with this idea of being loyal. Maybe grateful for safety. And B, may want, let's write a complete sentence, they may want to hold on to their culture and language. They are excited to learn a new language and culture. And again, these kind of seem like related ideas, so I'm going to combine them, I think, into one. But they are also excited to learn a new language and culture. Cool. And that seems like a pretty good order there for my points. So now I need to think about the order of these main points in my paragraph. So let's see. Ancestors who were immigrants. That seems like kind of my strongest argument. So I kind of like that at the beginning. They're very loyal to their new country. Yeah, I kind of like that at the end because it talks about them learning a new language and culture, kind of talking about the future. So I think that works out really well, actually. But if I thought there might be a different order, I could move these around like this. I think I'm going to keep it the same. Okay, and then I've got to think about my conclusion. And this can change from this point until the end of your opinion paragraph. But for now, I'm going to try to write a conclusion that kind of restates my opinion. So for example, the United States should allow refugees from any country into its borders and provide, and maybe this will result, actually, I'm going to change my mind here. So I'm going to go back to my original kind of controlling idea of being afraid and work to help people understand why they don't need to be afraid of them. So I want to restate that idea of being afraid as my controlling idea in my conclusion. So again, your conclusion might change. You'll probably add a few more ideas as you go, but remember it's only one paragraph. So this is a pretty good amount of material to cover in one paragraph. So we're going to go ahead and start with our outline, and I hope you enjoy it.